and welcome to the first edition of Trav's Exotics, where basically what we're going to do here is try to find some trifectas and first fours for you, and hopefully we get some big wins along the way. This has come about, a few people have been asking for us to have some horse racing tips, and we get shot through some inboxes and etc. So I've taken on the high risk, high reward version, and everyone loves to put on a trifecta or a first four. So we've got two meets to dissect, I guess, both at Moonee Valley. So Moonee Valley Friday night, which is the main race, is the Manikato, and obviously Saturday Moonee Valley Cox Plate. So what we're going to be dealing with here is mainly, some box tries, some standout trifectas, and some standout first fours. If you haven't done much of the standout stuff before, it can look a little crazy. So you might have 2 for first, 6 for second, and then maybe 9 for third, runners that is, and it looks a little nuts. But I find, instead of just boxing a few, you always end up missing one. So in saying that, I've got a fair few box tries as well, so hopefully we don't miss one. But without banging on about it too much, let's get smack bang into it. There's a solid amount of rain forecast from Moonee Valley Friday and Saturday. They've been wrong in recent weeks, and it's ended up pretty dry, but it is Melbourne. It'll probably rain at some point if they're going to say it's raining. So I've done all my form with a little bit of give in the ground, so a little bit of soft turf. And look, we're going to be trying to find some value runners to back off at the back end of trifectas and first fours. But then when we've boxed it, I think it's a pretty even race. So let's get into it. Race 3 is the Antler Luggage Handicap. And we're just going to box 5 runners to start with. It's a box trifecta, so numbers 1, 3, 4, 5, and 8. Ideally, in this race, we really want to have maybe the 1 to jag a win, but I think it's a fairly even race, this one, and I think even regardless of what comes out, the trifecta will pay okay. So we're going to chuck $45 on that, which will give you the 75% of the dividend. And the runners in that race, it's all fairly even. I've skipped the first 2 races as it's just all over the place. I have, some of you may see that I've faded William Thomas. I've kind of looked at the form and thought, he's raced twice at Moonee Valley. He's a back marker. He doesn't get around quick enough. He'll probably be rattling home, but I think he does miss the top 3. If he proves me wrong, that's what it is. So race 3, once again, just a box try, numbers 1, 3, 4, 5, 8. Next, we will move on to race 5, which is the Ladbrokes 55 Seconds Challenge. If you blink, you'll miss this one. If you go hang a piss, you'll miss this one. The first 4 may be a little bit of value here, but I am expecting the top 2 in the market to fight this out. So bear with me here. So at first, we've got numbers 7 and numbers 8. All right. Second, third, and fourth, we're going to put numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 10. $96 will get you 40% of the first 4. As I said, the top 2 in the market, they're paying around $3. Some of those horses that I've put in for second, third, and fourth, there's some good long odds there. I have made a mistake though. So at second, we've got 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8 for second. For third and fourth, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 10. So or you can just put all them for second as well. It'll take the percentage down. Depends how ambitious you're feeling, really. But I've got 96 on that, 40% of the dividend. If you get it, it's going to be a decent return. Just like last week, pools are big. It's that time of year. It's Spring Carnival. You've got to get into it. All right. Race 6 is the Sweeney Estate Agents Handicap. That's over 1,000 metres. We're going to go one out here. Written Beauty. It's coming down from Sydney. Equaled the track record at Canterbury in its third start. So, it's got a lot of speed. I think it suits this track. And I don't like going one out a lot, but we're going one out, first 4, just so you can get a bit more of a dividend as well. Obviously, this is just a guide. If you want to go maybe 3 and you want to chuck the 1 in for first, that's fine, but I'm not. I'm going the 3 just straight out. Second, we're going 1, 2, 7, and 9. Third and fourth, we're going 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11. Okay? So that'll get you well over 50% for the dividend, and you got to cheer that favourite on, and just hope the ones behind it are the good odds ones, because what happens is you don't want the first and then the second favourite. The odds are the price just doesn't get as good. So you're always looking at those back markers. It's quite fun to watch some of the back markers running home at like $40 if you got it. All right. Now, the last race we're really hitting before we get to the quaddie is obviously the Manikato Stakes. Kind of going off what this whole thing's about with exotics, but I'm just doing one bet on that. I can't pick a trifecta or a first 4. I'm just going Bella Vella each way, 20 win, 50 to place. Runs well, likes the track, likes the distance. It's a Group 1 performer. This really helps in these races, and I think a little over the mark. So at the moment on Sportsbet, we've got Bella Vella at $14.380. For me, that's overs. I really do like Pippi in that race as well, but I'll go with that 14 and 380 instead of 550 and 2. Okay, so we get to the quaddie. So quaddie, race 5 to race 8. So race 5, we're going number 7, number 8. Race 6, just stand out number 3. Race 7, we're going 2, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And race 8, we're going 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. $42 gets you 50% of the quaddie. So those last 2 races are where we really need to find some value. Maybe if Bella Vella gets up in the Manikato, it really jacks up that quaddie, because a lot of people are going to go pretty thin on this one. So the total meeting spend for me is around $337. Yours may be different. You may spend more, you may spend less, but hopefully it gives us a little bit of a good piggyback into Saturday. So Saturday, same forecast, rain. Track's going to be a little bit more worn down anyway. I don't think we're going to get a good track on Saturday, regardless. So this is one of my favourite meets of the year. Everyone loves a bit of Cox Plate. And race 4, which is the Lexus Phillies Classic. It's over 1,600 metres, and we are going just a box trifecta, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. I'm putting $60 on that. We're getting 100% of the div back if that seems to hit. We're really looking at William Pike's ride miss in between to really jack that up, and also Mark Zara's ride. Can't pronounce it. Hope it wins. Regardless, I think boxing these kind of races where the favourite, it's short enough, and I think something may be able to get it due to the fact it's in barrier 10. It's going to take a while to get across. If it doesn't get across like it didn't last start, it'll have to be running home really hard late. It only got 4th last start. So once again, just so you know, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. Box try, $60, 100% of the div. All right, moving on. Moving on to race 5, which is also over 1,600 metres. It's the Power Flow Solutions Stakes. All right, and same thing, we're boxing 5 runners. The first 3 bets on this day are box trifectas. And we're going to go numbers 3, 5, 10, 11, and 12. Same as before, $60, 100% of the dividend. Same kind of thing. Sovereign Reward is favourite. I think there's a lot of value around that, especially number 12. So Luke Nolan's on Red Healer. Has run in good company. You know, it's been in a Group 3. It should improve. It's had 2 placings, a win and a third on a soft track, and should be running home pretty well. 35s and 8s at the moment. So even if you want to have a bit of a flutter each way on that, I think it's a good go. All right. We're going to skip a few races and we go to race number 8. Okay. So it's the Gold Cup. We're boxing 6 runners here, okay? So I didn't want to drop one out because the one you drop out, as you know, you drop it out, bam, it wins. Or at least jags third by a nose, and then your trifecta's cooked. So we're going to go numbers 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12. $60. It gives you 50% of the dividend. Looking at the race, it's fairly open. I tend to think maybe a double figure odds shot wins this. Maybe a horse like Ocean X, who has just been going into the work, has not been trying to win races currently, just getting ready. It's in the Melbourne Cup, obviously, and I think something like that can really jag at least a place at a price. And then further down, Polly Gray, interesting runner from the Wallace stable, loves it wet. So good track. I'd just put a line through it, put a hole through it. Geez, that's a bit rough. But soft track, heavy track, loves it. So if it's a bit of a bog, that really comes into play. I think it'll probably even come into single figure odds. All right, now we're heading to what is a somewhat lackluster Cox Plate. The top end's quite good. It's going to be quite interesting. There's a couple of horses that need to turn the tables. I'm going to do a standout try for this, and I've narrowed it down to 4 that I think can win. I think there's more than 4 that can win, but I needed to make a decision. I couldn't put 7 or 8 horses in for first. So, Arcadia Queen, look, all you got to do is go back to the last start. All you need to do, all right? Russian Camelot, I haven't written it off. I'm kind of hoping everyone jumps off because I might have a piece by itself as well. Armory looks the best of the first international starters. Not big on the first. They usually, I like them to have a run usually, but this one looks quality. Good barrier, good chance. Probable, winning form's good form. Has run the distance once for a second. I think distance isn't an issue. He's been working its way up to this distance. So I'm going to go numbers 9, 11, 12, and 13 for first. Second and third, you can chuck in 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, 11, 12, and 13. As it's the main race, it's one of my favourite races of the year. I've outlaid $112. That gives you 50% of the dividend. Look, we really need a couple of the $20 shots to come into the placings. The pool will be massive regardless, so it's going to at least pay a little bit regardless of what comes out. If we hit it, we're probably going to get some form of profit back. I'll probably be doing a first 4 as well. I wouldn't recommend it. It's going to be a lot of outlay. You can have a go with what you want with my numbers, some of your own. Everyone's going to have a different opinion. That's fine. I wouldn't be surprised if something like Fierce Impact really came out of the clouds and won at 35s. But I'm not going to bank on that for the trifecta. I'm just going to try to... I think Arcadia Queen, if it runs like it did last start, Pike is going to get a Group 1. All right. Quaddie, if you don't know, is race 6 to race 9 for this. Race 6, we've got 1, 2, 3, 6, and 8. Race 7, we've got 1, 2, 5, and 6. Race 8, we've got 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12. Race 9, we've got 9, 11, 12, 13. $120, 25% of the quaddie. Quaddies pay well. You're really in business there. Look, even last week I was on 5% of the quaddie at Randwick, and I think I doubled my money. So you don't have to spend that much for quaddies especially. As I said, I get a bit loose around this time of year, but it's controlled looseness, okay? It's controlled looseness. The median spend there's 412. So over the total meetings, if my mathematics is correct, which it probably is not, it's $749. That's roughly 10% of my current bankroll that I'm rolling with across everything. It's probably a little less, but just to round it off, 10%. So if you've got a bankroll, maybe go around 10% of your bankroll, but whatever you feel comfortable with spending is what you should spend, okay? So don't blow, say you've budgeted $1,000 for the Cox Plate meet. Don't blow it all on exotics, okay? Have fun. Hopefully we hit a few. If we don't, I'll be having some really cheap ramen for dinner for the next week. No, I won't be, because I've got good bankroll management, okay? So if anyone wants to have a chat, if you don't know me semi-personally, you can head over to the Black Swan Bets Facebook if you want to talk some horse racing. If you do know me from one of the groups that I'm in, and we've chatted a little bit, or even if you know who I actually am, send through a message and I'm happy to, chat throughout the day. Don't shoot the messenger. If these all flop, that's exotic betting. You've just got to be ready for it. We might have a day where we clean up. We might have a day when we get absolutely rinsed. So I've been doing this podcast in my little gym. So if it sounds a bit funny, I also had to edit it a couple of times because talking to myself for half an hour is mighty weird, even though I'm an only child. So have fun. Obviously, if any of the horses get scratched that I've mentioned, I know there was a few dual acceptors as well, hence why I kind of faded away from the early races. Just maybe pop in something you like, or just leave it, because then you get a bigger dividend, okay? The Photoshop, if you're watching this on YouTube, is horrible. It's meant to be horrible, just like that show, even though I kind of liked it. Okay, it's a bit of a dumpster fire. All right, that's it from me. Check out Black Swan Bets. Hit me up if you want. Have some fun. Spring Carnival's meant to be the best time of the year. Unfortunately, there's not a massive crowd going, is what it is. And I think we'll see you probably for a Melbourne Cup special. Ciao for now.